Hey guys, welcome back to another Super 6 predictions video. As you can already tell in the background, not only is it a change of scenery, and yes, I've had a fresh trim, looking good for the video obviously. However, the main thing is, we have a special guest on the channel.
Yes. Hello, everybody.
So his name is Zach. He's a really good friend of mine. I've known him for a few years now. He's a really good guy, supports Liverpool. And you're the first ever guest on the channel. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels very good. I'm very excited to be part of the predictions.
Good. I mean, obviously, like I just said, he's the first guest on the channel, and I'm sure he's really going to enjoy it. So let's get straight into it. First game between Newcastle and Everton at St James's Park. So basically, Newcastle are going into this game in much better form. Everton are winless in like the last 7-8 games.
Yeah, last 7-8 games dating back to, I think, December or January. I'm not 100% sure. But it's a long time since they last won a game.
Yeah, because considering that Newcastle came back from 3-1 down to beat West Ham 4-3 on the weekend, I kind of feel there is, because obviously Sven Botman, he's out with a knee injury. Again, they've got what's that Estonian goalkeeper, Karius.
Loris Karius, just German, you mean?
Yeah, because he used to play for Liverpool, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so I think he's still in between the sticks for the game. Everton, they haven't won in a while, and they face a very tough trip to St George's. Not St George's Park, St James's Park.
St James's, yeah. That's right.
Yeah. So how do you see this going then?
Yeah, I think it's going to be, for the majority of the game, one-sided. Newcastle will be too good for Everton. As you said, they've been winless in the last 7 or 8 games, which is dating back to January or late December, since they last won the game. But yes, I do agree with you. I think it's going to be probably a mismatch. So my prediction will probably be a 4-1 to Newcastle.
Okay, that's a good prediction. I'm going to go 3-0 to Newcastle. Nottingham Forest versus Fulham. Now, basically, Forest, they have not won in a while, whereas Fulham, they're going into this game in much better form. However, Zach, I want to point out that against Sheffield United, when Fulham played against them at Bramall Lane, at one point they were 3-1 down.
Yeah.
Is this a case where, obviously this is another tough away game at the City ground, do you feel that Fulham can bounce back, or is it a case where Forest can grab something considering they are literally just above Luton in the league table?
Yeah, it's massive for both teams. Massive for Nottingham Forest even more, especially at home. Because they're fighting for relegation, for survival. So Luton are just below them on goal difference, or 1 point behind. But yes, I do agree with you. It's a massive game for Nottingham Forest. For Fulham as well, it's a big game for them, for aspirations to finish in top 10. Potentially in Europe if they keep up with a very good form with 10 games left. But yeah, I mean, for Fulham, I think they'll bounce back. They've shown a lot of very good resilience and character over the last couple of games. But I do agree with you about Nottingham Forest. I do think they have to get something from that game, otherwise there's trouble.
Yeah, I think, again, Fulham, they're sitting mid-table at the moment. They're not really playing for much at the moment. And yes, they are trying to get into the top 10, but that doesn't really mean much when, if you think about it, because 7th gets you into the Conference League, and they're still a bit away from that at the moment.
Yes, they are. That's correct. Same for Chelsea as well. There are a few, which we'll touch on more later. But yeah, I do agree with you. With Fulham, I don't think they'll get anything. I don't think they'll get into Euro Conference League. I have a feeling there's a few teams above them that are in more likely to at least qualify for Europe than Fulham. So, but yeah, finishing top 10 would be a good season for them.
So based on what we've just said, I'm going to go for Nottingham Forest win 2-1.
I think personally, I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. I feel like with Nottingham Forest, they'll pull up a really good surprise. But I do think with Fulham, as we saw this past Saturday against Sheffield United, they are going to show some spirits of fightbacks and resilience.
Zach, do you know what's coming up?
What's that?
The big London derby between West Ham and Tottenham.
That's a tasty game.
It is. Obviously it's going to be a very feisty game for sure. Tottenham are going into this game in much better form at the moment. They did beat Luton 2-1 on the weekend, while West Ham, it is mad because 3-1 up at St James's Park against Newcastle, bottled their 3-1 lead to lose 4-3.
Yeah, bottled it big time, big time.
Do you think that defeat will have a mental impact on West Ham towards this game, or?
I think so too. I mean, you can't obviously go 3-1 up and then lose 4-3. I mean, credit to, as I said, Newcastle for that bounce back, given the crisis they're going through with a lot of players injured. But enough about that. For the game itself, it's a big game for both sets of teams, for both West Ham and Tottenham. West Ham, they're fighting for Europa League as well as Conference League, so there's a chance for them to rack up some more points. I mean, this is a stage of the season where they have to now start racking up points. As for Tottenham Hotspur, same situation for them. Champions League football for them potentially next season. If, like I said, they can take advantage of Aston Villa's slip up. They had the opportunity against Fulham a couple of games ago, but they lost it. But again, it's a big game for both sets of sides.
Yeah, because West Ham have Bayer Leverkusen coming up in the Europa League, and I feel towards this game, like considering how big this game is, like I'm not sure whether West Ham will rest some of their players or go full strength. But as for Tottenham, they did beat Luton 2-1 on the weekend. The pattern I've noticed about them is they tend to start most first halves quite slow, but then eventually pick it up in the second half. Do you feel that will be a very similar case here, or?
I think so too. That's always been the situation at home at White Hart Lane. We go through patterns where they start slow and then they bounce back. The character that they've shown throughout parts of the season has been really good up until mid-season. But of course, the difference in that game, I think, will be the quality of both sets of sides. I mean, West Ham, they have to go. I think they will probably go strong teams. They'll probably go for the fully strength team potentially. Maybe Calvin Phillips. I think, despite the mistakes he made, it's an opportunity for him to redeem himself. As for Brendan Johnson for Tottenham Hotspur, it's a massive chance for him to continue his fine form like he did in the second half against Luton. But yeah, it's gonna be a feisty game in my opinion. A lot of tackles, a lot of creating opportunities created, chances created.
Yeah.
More importantly, I think both sets of defence are very vulnerable as well. So as you saw this past weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think it's a good opportunity for both sets of teams.
I mean, like you just said, it's going to be a very feisty game. Yeah, like a lot of tackles flying in, crunching tackles, bookings. I mean, referees nowadays, they'll just dish out yellow cards for even the smallest thing, like even if it's like a touch on the shoulder, he'll still give it a yellow card. It's like...
Look, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
Me, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Tottenham Hotspur win.
Game 4, which is Arsenal versus Luton at the Emirates. So Arsenal going into this game in much better form. Whereas for Luton, they haven't won in a while.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have no idea what's happened to them. I mean, they're still in for a shout to still stay up, but they need to start racking up wins very quickly. As for Arsenal, still unbeaten in 2024. It's going to take some doing for Luton to get something from that game.
Yeah, it's obviously because Arsenal, they haven't exactly scored for goals for fun lately. Like they did beat Brentford 2-1 at home. They drew 0-0 against Man City, by the way, as well. It's like that, because, okay, fine, it wasn't the best 0-0 I've ever seen, but the way Arsenal defended, they defended very well as a unit. They were solid. They won some tackles, some first balls, and if you go by form, again, like I just said, this is a game where surely Arsenal should be able to keep a clean sheet.
100%. Because Manchester City all came down to the Arsenal's defending came down to Manchester City's ability to try and play possession-based football, which they have done, but they were too slow, and that's what made it easier for Arsenal to set a low block.
Also, bear in mind this is Luton's second trip to North London in the space of like 3 days.
Yes, that's correct.
So and obviously they're up against, let's be real, much better opposition. So I feel like is this the case where maybe Arsenal will start off really strong in the first half? Let's say they'll probably be up by a few goals and eventually take their foot off the gas and allow Luton back into the game.
Yeah, 100%. On that basis, I'm going to predict a 2-1 Arsenal win. On that basis, because Luton will put up a good fight, but I do think they'll be short towards the end. Arsenal, for me, they've got enough quality to batter anyone these days. I mean, their away record has been sensational. Like West Ham United 6-0, Sheffield United 5-0, or 6-0 it was. Burnley as well 5-0. It's insane. You know, they've been, even this past Sunday's game against Manchester City, they've picked up a really good clean sheet. Even though you might feel 2 points dropped or 2 points gained, 1 point gained, but at the same time, it's going to be close.
Yeah, I mean, what I like about Luton is they show a really good character, and like they've got Andros Townsend, they've got like, do you know anyone else? Andros Townsend, they've got
Morris is one of them.
Oh, Ross Barkley.
Ross Barkley, yep, that's
yeah,
right.
Very good technical player. I feel like they will put up a fight, but I think it'll be a bit too much for them to handle. So I'm going to go 4-0 Arsenal. Right, so now our fifth game is Brentford versus Brighton at the GTEC Community Stadium. So Zach, when Brentford played at home recently, they drew 1-0 against Man United. They showed really good comeback. I mean, obviously when Mount scored, he thought he won it until that Danish defender Ayer, I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Ayer, yes.
Yeah, so he scored in what was literally the last kick of the game.
Yeah.
Do you feel Brentford they have the spirit to bring into this game where it's like, you know, even if they do fall behind at some point, they can get back into it?
Yes, 100%. And they were very unlucky to go behind against Manchester United, which I thought was going to be that winning goal. They had all the opportunities. They did everything right but score until that very last minute of the stoppage time. Ayer scored the equaliser. I mean, it all came down to Ivan Toney's hold-up play.
I know, he's brilliant.
The quality that he has in the team is insane. I mean, Arsenal have been linked with him in the past. I'm not sure if that's still the case now, but quality player Ivan Toney. He made a huge difference. He could have scored. He could have had a hat trick that day, and he did have a goal disallowed. So, hence why, it was very good determination from Brentford towards the end.
I feel like he's the most important player in the team because since he came back from that 8-month ban from the betting, he's contributed already a few goals, and I feel he's a real asset to that team. As for Brighton, they did take the lead really early against Liverpool.
They did. I mean, very good goal against Kevin Kelleher, Danny Welbeck. Very good goal, and they've been very unfortunate. But they haven't really posed any threat apart from a couple of times where they've played very good. They've been able to play out from the back very quickly through Liverpool's high press, leaving them vulnerable in the counter attack. So, but at the same time, Brighton needs to start picking up some form, man, towards the end of the season.
Yeah, because their away form has been absolutely dreadful in recent weeks. It's like they lost against Wolves, Fulham, Roma in the Europa League, and obviously, okay, fine, Liverpool, given they're a really good team, obviously you guys are top for a reason. They did score, so they ended their away goal drought. So, and I feel they will again score here, but I'm not sure if they'll have enough to get over the line. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw as well. Brentford, I think, they'll just about stay up in the Premier League, but Brighton, they need to, I don't potentially see them win in that game much. So yeah, 1-1. Yeah,
because again, like, you know, Brentford, they're only probably a few points off the drop as well. So yeah, I'm going to stick with the 1-1. Last game of the round, Man City versus Aston Villa. So this is a game where, you know, Man City surely have to win, don't they?
Yeah, they're under pressure to win games now. I mean, they had no sniff. They did not have a sniff in front of goal except for that one shot on target against David Dwyer, and that all came down to Arsenal's low block defending, very disciplined low block defending. Let's be honest. If Arsenal had played they took their game to Man City at the Emirates, they would have been battered left, right, centre. And they've learned their lessons from last season as well. But then they could have done a lot more going forward as well. So that's how it is. As for Manchester City, they had all the possession. They had their quality on the pitch, but they just for some reason they're not usually uncharacteristic in the games like this at home. So yeah, it goes back to what, a couple of years, like 3 or 4 years now since they last drawn and last not scored a goal at home. It's crazy.
Yeah, because like if we touch on Aston Villa, they did beat Wolves 2-0.
Yeah.
So they're also going into this game in pretty good form, but away from home not being the best. You got Man City again. their home form's been really good. And again, as an Arsenal fan myself, I have to be real about my predictions because again, I need points. So I feel like surely this is a game where, you know, the likes of Foden, De Bruyne, especially Haaland, they must turn up for a game like this to have any chance of being in the title race.
100%. 100%. I mean, yeah, they need to just keep winning games now. Like, they cannot afford any more slip-ups to Manchester City because it all goes down. The title race will go down to the wire, but
Yeah.
Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City, they cannot afford any slip-ups now. But on that basis, as much as Aston Villa won on the weekend at home, if they want to, if they have aspirations to get Champions League football, they have to get something from that game. Otherwise, it's going to be a long day. So I predict a 3-0 Manchester City win.
Okay, so basically, talking of slip-ups as well, so Bernardo Silva recently said in a press conference, well, I saw it on a post on Insta, he said that, you know, they need to rely on other results in their favour for them to have any chance of winning the title. So, look, it's down to them. If they really want this title, they're going to have to really play for it. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Man City. Those are mine and Zach's score predictions for round 47 locked in. Feel free to leave your scores in the comment section. Oh yeah, before we finish, I was going to say, so basically, so you probably already heard in the previous video where I'm going to do me versus the guests. So basically, since Zach is now my first guest, so how it's going to work for him is, so it's like he's playing Super Six. He doesn't really play it, but it's like he's playing it. So basically, if he gets any of the correct scores, he gets 5 points. A correct result, which is only 2 points, meaning that he got the correct outcome but not the score. And then 0 points for getting it completely wrong. So we're going to see how it goes after this round. And then we'll see where we're at. So,
Yeah.
yeah, anyway, thanks guys for watching. Yeah, enjoy your week.
Thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure to be on your show as your first guest. And yeah, I look forward to being part of another Super 6 prediction.